This conference will now be recorded.
So welcome to day 16 of our EC Payroll learning journey. So till now, most of the topics which you have covered, we started with the payroll control center for the last 2 days. And we have covered most of the topics surrounding your payroll control center core configurations and what are the different background processes. Okay, so how to do that we have seen that. Today we'll be focusing on some of the processes which actually it is not very important for us, like people who have already started using payroll control center in the previous edition or the older edition. Okay, how they will be migrating or how they will be converting their existing processes. From a theoretical point of view we will see it, but practically I have not used this in my projects. Mostly I have worked on the fresh implementations where exactly the client has used started using PCC from scratch. Okay, so they are not in a native user of payroll control center. As I was mentioning, without success factor also people can use the payroll control center using Fiori Launchpad and all. Okay, but they will not be able to achieve all the functionalities of EC payroll like point to point. Those things will not be available for them. Only the payroll control center side they will be able to execute and all, but it will not be fully functional for them like we have in EC payroll. That we are going to see, but it is not very important. But as it is a part of your learning hub, okay, so as well as a certification hub, but I have not seen any questions here, but you may be asked a question. So for that reason, I'm not just going to cover you, but it's a little outdated topic. Okay. So when it comes to the understanding your payroll control center configuration, so there is something called define process type, and there are something called convert process to simplified configuration. So whenever I'm saying a simplified configuration, this is the latest one. Okay? So we are working mostly on latest configuration. So wherever you are using any kind of conversion program like the old one you are using, simply whatever the processes and policy you are using in the old PCC system or old payroll control center system, you have to convert them into the from non-simplified. The earlier one we used to call it non-simplified configuration. Simply we have to convert them to simplified configuration. Now simplified configuration is the latest one. Okay, so that is the only fundamental, nothing else is there. The same thing. So there is a concept called these are set of node for that. Okay, like creating a policy whitelist. So what is the meaning of a whitelisting? So as a layman terminology, whitelisting means we are just allowing something. The opposite is suppose a blacklist. Blacklist means you are just not allowing them. So policy whitelist means existing policy. Suppose in the old payroll control center, you have 10 different policies. Okay. Out of that, while migrating or while upgrading to your new payroll control center simplified configuration, you have decided, no, out of these 10 policies, let's say only 8 policies I think it is relevant for future, and 2 policies I do not want to move to the simplified configuration. In that case, what I can do, I will just whitelist those 8 policies. Okay, the remaining 2 policy I do not want to whitelist, so that automatically those 2 will be blacklisted and I will not be able to use those. Okay, only whatever the 8 whitelisted policies that I will use. So that is the concept of policy whitelisting. Someone might be asking in an interview, what do you understand by policy whitelist? Then you can simply explain them like existing policies that should be used, which you can use in the future while converting from your non-simplified configuration to simplified configuration. Okay, so that is the concept of your policy whitelisting. I have never done it, but the functionality is there. Okay, so second one, check policy consistency. So what is the concept of policy consistency? So after conversion, suppose if you like to have done do a test on whether whatever the existing policy, whether it actually those are working fine in my system or not. Okay, so that is actually the concept of policy consistency. So before converting, these two things you have to check. First of all, you have to do a whitelisting. The second is the consistency check of the policy. Okay, so that you have to ensure the existing policy, whatever you are having, that is perfectly fine. Okay? So once it is done, the third thing is convert existing policy. So this is a conversion process where exactly you have to convert your policy, the non-simplified configuration to your simplified configuration. So this is the 3 steps approach for policy. Okay. So while converting from your existing policies to from non-simplified to simplified, creating a policy whitelist, creating a policy consistency, then conversion of your existing policy from non-simplified configuration, non-simplified policy to simplified policy. So same thing is applicable for your processes as well. First of all, so you have to create a process whitelisting, then check process consistency, then conversion of your existing processes. So this is simple three steps for each conversion. Okay. So the next one is like how to do this. Same thing I have actually explained here. Okay. So there are specific node for that. You have to go there and you have to convert existing policy to a. So you can see in this diagram, like I have a existing class which is a ZPCC gross process context. After converting, it will be converted to a new ID. If it is something given some error, then you have to resolve it. Okay, but nothing much difficult. Generally, in a typical implementation, you will not be coming across this kind of situation. Okay, so whenever you are doing such kind of changes, okay, suppose this is a simple example. Whenever you are doing a PCC configuration, suppose it is a post payroll process. Once your payroll has been your simulation posting is done, you are ready for doing a live finance posting. So what you need to do, you have to posting to FI has 3 different steps, like creating a posting document, releasing a posting document, and third one is a posting document to FI. That is your posting to FI 3 different process. Similarly, if you're using a bank transfer program, okay, so then you have to use this pre-DME and DME, okay, pre-data medium exchange and your data medium exchange. Then you do a check printing, okay. So these are different steps you have to follow, and for all of this, SAP has already delivered a predefined program which you are already aware of in the on-premise payroll. Also, the same program we have been using, so nothing different here. Only thing is, while using payroll control center, you have to save a variant for each and everything. Okay. So in the on-premise payroll, the variant was not so important for us, because every time you execute, you have an access to that particular transaction code and you enter those values in the selection screen. But when it comes to the payroll control center, variant plays a major role. So whatever programs you'll be using, whether it is a live posting or it is a live payroll production run, okay. So for all those scenarios, you have to use a variant and you have to save those variants, okay. So that is one of the important part of your PCC configuration. Okay, this is just a simple example I have given, but same is applicable for any processes in your payroll control center. Okay, so this is a simple thing, nothing much here. So this is how the simplified configuration which we have seen in the admin screen. In the part A, we have already seen these are how this pre-payroll and post-payroll, this monitoring it will be looking like. Nothing much here. Off cycle and what are the business functions which you have already seen, the prerequisite. Okay, this is just for another recap. So this one we'll be seeing today how the steps will be looking like in the PCC configuration. Okay, payroll process template. Okay, so these are the different screenshots. Now, once it is done, I will show you the system. Nothing much here. And these are also yesterday we have seen. Like if you like to access any of the interface from your ECC. Okay, suppose you do not have a payroll in the EC payroll, still you can use payroll control center by accessing it from the URL and make it a favorite in your SAP EG access. From there also you can run your payroll control center off cycle run, whatever the production run. Okay, so you can do. Only thing is if that P2P functionality will not be there. Only thing directly you will be using from your EC your backend system. Okay, so that things you can use. This is a simple concept of how to run those payroll processes and all. Now I'll be coming to the PCC role. So role, from the role perspective, it is also very simple one. Like in success factor we do have admin role and manager role. Okay, admin is actually your subject matter expert. Manager is all of your operational activities will be done by him. So very similar in PCC also we do have a similar kind of role. Okay, so payroll admin. So if you are having a one is a payroll process manager, another is a payroll administrator. Okay, and depending upon your organization, suppose it is a more complex, it has a more head count is more than say 20, 30,000, and you have more admin, then you can define different admin. Like one admin will be looking after garnishment, one admin will be looking after taxes. So you can subdivide depending upon your requirement. But ideally, there are two major roles. One is your payroll process manager. Second one is your payroll administrator. That you can define as usual using your SAP the ECC as well. Okay, so those kind of roles will be there, and these things already we have seen, like the PCC roles, what are the roles you can give, whatever you have given in the ECC, your success factor RBB, similar role we can give in the your on-premise side as well. Okay, so nothing much difference is here. Okay, so monitoring will be monitoring policies, will be accessing all these things. Okay, so not much different, same thing, whatever you have seen the admin part, again it is repetitive here. Okay, so while running the payroll again, like suppose if you are working for US payroll, then your whatever the payroll driver program, okay, so that particular driver program you have to maintain your variant in that particular driver program. Okay, so that is the thing I like to try to say here. Same goes with the posting payroll, those 5 steps I was talking about. Okay, just I try to recap here all this topic again. So this is actually the old screen. People who have seen the older PCC, it used to look like this. Okay, but at present, whatever the screenshot I have put it in this presentation, mostly these are actually the current screenshot. Okay, so like also there are certain baddies. Okay, there are certain baddies available which you will be getting. So any kind of customization is required, then you have to explore this specific body and you have to talk to your ABAPer for that. Okay, during your conversation with the client, also involve your ABAPer if any customization they require it. Then within that limit only, whatever SAP has given those body, only thing what can be customized when what can't be customized, those details will be getting in this particular body detail. So, those details I have also given here. And when it comes to the simplified configuration, so SAP, this is little technical to understand. Okay, from a architecture point of view, SAP uses a concept called BO, Business Object Processing Framework. Okay, so this is the framework SAP uses in the simplified configuration. Okay, this is just from an architecture point of view, or somebody asked you in more technically. Okay, so you can also, what is the difference between your non-simplified configuration and the simplified configuration? The main difference is you. So are you aware of business object module, Navdeep, by any chance, or you heard about
No,
it? Okay, so there is a
I
different
think
module.
I might have read, I'm a little bit aware of it, but I don't know in depth.
Huh, that is fine. Even I have never worked on SAP BI or SAP BO. The BI is a business intelligence. A BO is actually the business object. Those are closely related. But in SAP, this EC payroll simplified configuration, SAP uses the concept of BOBF. BOBF is business object processing framework. So from an implementation point of view, nothing to understand here. Only thing is just for your understanding how SAP has upgraded, what technology SAP has used in the simplified configuration. Suppose if you would like to have a conversation with your any product manager, any not the client will not be going so deep technical. So that you can just for your understanding, I put this slide across. The framework which SAP uses actually BOBF, Business Object Processing Framework. You can check this thing using the transaction code BOBF. Okay, and what are the different objects SAP uses? So in that SAP uses these two objects, that is a PYC process maintenance REQ and PYC policy maintenance REQ. One is for process, another is for policy. Okay, these two transportable BO object SAP uses. Okay, and there are a couple of table which I have mentioned is not very important, but suppose if you're working as an architect or enterprise architect, or you're working in the future any higher technical role if you're taking, so you should understand this topic from an architecture point of view. Okay, so that you have more understanding. So this is just the future photo screenshot. I put it here. This is not for any client or any implementation, just for your understanding. Okay, so for that reason you will be seeing it is showing for internal use only. So it is not, you will not be doing any configuration. Only thing is you can see how this SAP has designed this, so the backend of backend, you can say. Okay, so how SAP has designed this policy for whatever the design, the processes. Okay, just I have taken the screenshot and the data model, whatever how SAP product team has designed this in the backend. Okay, developer, all those team. Okay, so this is a kind of a backend of backend, you can say. Okay, so what goes inside your, this is just for your understanding, nothing else. Okay, so the policy, whatever processes which I was talking about, right? BOPYC underscore policy maintenance REQ, process maintenance REQ, they have defined in the backend business object. Okay, this is just for your understanding and how they have defined all this node element. They have configured it. Okay, even I am not technically never done this. Okay, this is again part of your SAP product team. They only do it for us. Okay, so we do not have to worry about it. Only thing is you have to understand, little bit of understanding you should have how SAP has designed in the backend. Okay? So this is just for your understanding. I put it across. Nothing else. It is not anywhere in your implementation guide or all-in-one guide. Okay, so just for your understanding, I have added in the last 2 months back only. I have added it, and whenever they are doing it, then all these things will be appearing here, the pre-payroll or whatever we have seen. Okay, so those are the different concepts how to update using your different administrator roles, different roles for your manager role. Okay, so those are the different concepts here. The next topic is, again, it is not very new, the payroll control center integration from a Fiori point of view. Okay, whenever I'm talking about payroll integration, BCC integration, there are two aspects of it. Employee Central is very much standard, so you do not have to do much. The first one is Fiori Launchpad and HR renewal. Suppose the client is not using SuccessFactors, they are still happy with their on-premise and they are using HR renewal 2.0 or Fiori Launchpad. They are using different Fiori apps for different purpose. So in those cases, you can integrate your payroll control center with the Fiori Launchpad. Okay, but this one actually I have never done it. Mostly I have for the last 4 years I have been using SuccessFactors only. But before that, PCC actually came up, right? Around 2012-13, PCC came up. So during those time, people who have used still they are using this concept. So in those cases, you will be finding those UI like this. Okay, instead of this functionality was released around February 2016, couple of them. Okay, so you can see those UI. It will be looking like this. Okay, so whatever you are seeing in our SuccessFactors payroll control center, it will be looking like, for if you're using for Fiori, it will be like manage policies, manage off cycle. It will be looking like a tile here. Okay, there will be like a tile, my processes, manage processes. So for PCC payroll manager, it will be having a separate tab. Under that, they will be having their own thing. For similarly for payroll control center, payroll administrator, the my alert, my team alert, whatever you are seeing in a tab in our SuccessFactors, there you seeing it as like a tile here. Okay, so these things are there, but I have never used it. So this is again people who are using purely Fiori based application. It can be configured. It is very simple. You take help from your Fiori consultant, ABAP Fiori consultant, then they will be able to integrate these things. Okay, like payroll manager having specific tile, payroll admin will be having specific tile. Okay, all these things will be there, okay, but it is not very important for us. And whenever you are doing a Fiori Launchpad designer PC configuration, those alert also can be configured. Whatever the alert, what are the processes, okay. So all these things can be configured. And how to configure this? The details here are there. There is a Fiori Launchpad designer, but ideally I have not done it. So whenever if the client is having such kind of concept, then you have to take help from your ABAPer or a SAP Fiori consultant for that. Okay. So ideally they can help you, and the details, the whole SAP help file you'll be getting here. Okay. But again, it is, I consider it's an outdated topic. So similarly, for PFCG, where for doing the such kind of thing, you have to create a launchpad role. So launchpad. So are you aware of? You must be aware of these things. So whenever you've worked on ESS and MSS, have you used this transaction PFCG or launchpad?
PC, no.
Okay. So as I have worked on ESS long back, around 2013-14, I have worked on ESS, MSS as well. So in those cases, to give this role, you have to go to a particular transaction in the SAP side, which is called PFCG, and you can find detail about it in a particular blog link, which I have given it here. Okay. So in those transactions, you can give those ECC link, and you can provide those launchpad role as well. You have to follow the same approach, but the screens will be looking like little traditional, like here. Okay, so like my services payroll control center, it will looking like that. Okay, so this is again SAP has delivered this payroll. They call it payroll cockpit landing page. Okay, but it is an older version of ECC. Before at present, you might be having a different screen. Okay, these are different old screen which SAP has given. So this is another transaction called LPD underscore cost. That is actually the launchpad transaction which I was talking about. LPD underscore cost, which transaction will be using for your pay, ESS MSS. Generally, whenever if you're working on-premise old school ESS MSS, then to whom, suppose if you're working on a leave application, so how to give that access to specific role and all, or if you're working for a pay slip application or any other application, time sheet application, so how to given access to those things in the ESS MSS or HR renewal setup. So this kind of you have to use this particular transaction called LPD underscore cost. Then we call it the chip, whatever the tile we are calling. So we call it chip in the catalog. So there are some set of configuration. Ideally, you can also do it, not very difficult. And otherwise, there is something called EP consultant, enterprise portal. Used to call them enterprise portal. Okay, those you things you can use in your typical. Why the slide is not working? Just a minute. You're not able to see the presentation, is it?
It's dark, it's black.
Yeah. Just let me. Why that slide actually stopped working? Just give me a minute.
This conference will now be recorded.
So these are the different HR renewal steps. You can use LPD underscore cost that transaction, and you can utilize that. Okay. So other than that, here again I just repeated it. How means what is the difference between your on-premise payroll and your EC payroll? So this is the old school topic again. So the difference between these two. Okay. So like it is always available on your on-premise 6 onwards. It is onwards. Your EC payroll is always newest SAP release. The service offering is increased. Okay. So people who are actually interested means mostly they are moving towards employee central payroll these days. Okay. This slide is for only if the clients ask what are the different features between these two, then you can tell them. So this is just a simple understanding. Okay, nothing much is here. All those presentations. This one we've already discussed earlier, like how to assign this payroll system assignment. Just a recap. Okay. And when it comes to the role-based processing role, like what are the roles you'll be given to the manager, and what are the admin roles? So as I was mentioning, all the alert, my alert, unassigned alert, it will be given to the admin. The remaining operational thing you can give it to your manager. So this is again a role-based model which you can give what access you can give to the manager, what access you can give to the admin. Nothing much. And this is how your typical mashup screen will be looking like your payroll statement. Okay, in your EC payroll. That will be accessing from your my employee file, where exactly in your earning deduction, your particular pay statement it will be. But for designing this pay slip, you have to follow the same process. Like you have to take help from your ABAP using HR forms. Okay, so that you can still do it, and accordingly it will be aligned in your success factor. Nothing much. Okay, and other than that, so these are again reporting topic. So nothing much. So So this is just information like ECP time management. If you are using, what is out of scope, like your CATs, KMW, those are again not part of the ECP payroll. So what is in scope is actually the RP time. The RP time, you are already familiar about RP time. That is still relevant. You can use it. Whatever the legal reporting on time related data, that is still you can use it. Okay. Any kind of custom integration between your payroll time related info type style, that still you can use it. Okay. And similarly, any kind of interface building for 2001, 2003, 2006, 2010, still you can use it. So what is in scope? Suppose from a time management perspective, what are the things you will be having in scope? What are in the not? Suppose you are also implementing time and you are integrating with the receipt payroll. So what should be your scoping and not scoping? That you can get the information from here. Okay. So those are the things. Other than that, this is actually a little old slide, but now it has been extended, so that you will be getting in the all-in-one guide. Okay, what are the countries SAP EC payroll is supporting? Previously it was 41 countries, but at present it's more than that. Okay, so which will be also getting in the all-in-one guide. Nothing much here. Okay, so other than that, the last one. This is again very important. Remember, there is no lift and shift from HCM payroll to EC payroll. Suppose if you are implementing uh, EC payroll, it is not very easy to, it is not a kind of a lift and shift or upgrade approach. Rather, it is this implementation approach is actually described as carve out and migrate. So it is a completely new implementations. We describe it as a carve out and migrate approach. Okay. So it is not a kind of easily upgrade and lift and shift from a project management point of view. Okay. So you have to do every configurations. Okay. A lot of testing. Okay, so it is not a kind of lift and shift traditional approach. Okay, so you can tell your customer accordingly. And some of the things you have to remember: modifications of SAP source code, actually it is not permitted in your EC payroll. So whatever the source code, if you like to change it from a EC payroll point of view, that's the basic cloud standard quality. Okay, so any kind of SAP source code, you're not allowed to change it. Okay, so similarly, extensibility, when it comes to extensibility or enhancement, it is limited in EC payroll compared to your on-premise SCM. Okay, another thing you have to remember, uh, SAP EC payroll leverages your on-premise SCM payroll, but exactly it is not the same. So there are certain additional business functionality which I have told to you. Okay, so it is not, people might think I were already a customer of your on-premise payroll, so why don't you upgrade our system to EC payroll? It is not very easy to say. It is very easy to say, but it is not very easy to implement. Okay, so within 1 month or 2 months you can't do it. You have to do same follow track. I have seen a typical implementation goes at least 4 months, 4 to 6 months. If it is very, everything is simple and all. Okay, so that is the approach. If you are working as a project manager, then you have to think of that. So otherwise, the next couple of things actually, what are the different responsibility from an if you are a customer, so you have to tell like what are the different responsibility, like from a customer point of view or from a consultant point of view. I have just mentioned it. This is just for from an operational point of view, like your SAP basis consultant, what they will be doing. They'll be doing all the storage management, network monitoring, applying patches. Okay, so all these things, your EC payroll, SAP cloud operations team's responsibility. Okay, so they will be doing all the upgrade patches, any kind of legal changes, applying SAP notes. Okay, system provisioning and monitoring. Okay, all these things you can talk to your customer accordingly. So this is again completely little conceptual topic, nothing much here. Okay, so now we will stop here and we'll go. I'll go to the system and tell you whatever the things are there, some of the configuration. And tomorrow we'll be completing our PCC with some additional topic like the authorization matrix for payroll control center and some more topic like tools. What are the different tools which you have already seen couple of them in our point-to-point replication. Okay, like the audit log and but only one new tool I'm talking about, the reset process instance. Okay, this is a new tool. Otherwise, these two additional tools which you have already seen, okay, declustering and action log audit tool. With that, we'll be finishing tomorrow. And as I was mentioning, you can ask your questions after you take your time and Then we will be having another session whenever you require it, okay, on demand. Okay, so that is all from your today's session. Then let me go back to the system. I will be showing a couple of more configuration in the payroll control center side. Okay.
This conference will now be recorded.
So this is your payroll control center process management rapid deployment RDS guide. That is your rapid deployment solution. You can directly utilize this document during a configuration of your payroll control center. Okay. So if you go, if you see the table of content of this payroll control center document, there are three sections of it. One is your payroll process management, where exactly you will be defining those process template, policy types, process types, and your process and policy namespace. The second topic is payroll control center, creating a variant. So creation of variant is very easy, like the program name, with whatever program name I haven't told you, right? So there are dedicated program for your production payroll run, finance posting, upcycle payroll run. Simply you need to go there and you have to maintain a variant as per the guideline given in this particular 48 pages guide. Okay, that is regarding a payroll control center. The third one is yesterday or day before, whatever you have discussed, like scheduling those batch processing, the day, maintaining the recurrence of diamond job, regular wrap up jobs. Okay, so all these things settings which I have discussed 2 days back. Okay, so all these things are there in this RDS guide and it is very easy to follow. Okay, so what are the things you have to do? Simply follow this guide during your EC payroll implementation from a payroll control center perspective, provided you have all of your installation is done. Yeah, tell me.
So this is a configuration guide or this is RDC guide? Like what is the difference?
Actually,
RDC.
RDS guide only, but it is again a configuration. So RDS provides rapid deployment solution. So actually, they provide a configuration guide as well. So they provide a template and everything. If you're going for it, even if you're not going for actual RDS implementation, this guide still you can leverage in your typical implementation. Even I have used in my project implementation because it's very easy to follow. The configuration, everything is there. Okay, so you can follow the exactly by where to go, like SPRO you have to go to particular configuration saying as I was mentioning yesterday, like payroll you have to always choose payroll international. Even if you are implementing for Canada EC payroll, every time you have to go to payroll international, and from there we have seen a couple of them, like defining a process template. It is very easy to follow. So like the SAP has already given it, okay, that's like PYP and whatever
So
we have used.
they have given a configuration guide for the each topic. Like
Con-
so this
configuration guide for your payroll control center only. This is the, for other topic you have to follow that all-in-one guide. Okay, but for payroll control center, this guide you have to follow.
okay. It's only for the payroll control center. Okay.
Payroll control center configuration. Yes, yes. Okay.
Okay.
So it is again, it doesn't take
So they
more
have
much
given
time.
like a configuration guide for other ones, like but we have done covered other topics.
No, for those we do not have. For those you have to follow that all-in-one guide only. That exactly whatever the steps I have mentioned in the presentation, and whatever the steps are there in your all-in-one guide, that steps you have to follow. But for payroll control center, as it is a little new for everyone, okay. So for that reason, SAP has given this guide an additional thing. Okay. So that is the thing. Nothing much. Okay. So here you'll be finding very easy. So you do not, this configuration doesn't take more than 1 day. Okay. So within, even in my last project, I did it within 8 hours, all the configuration. Okay. So simply you have to follow this, and these things will be all whatever I've highlighted. This is actually relevant for me. Like for my project, it was relevant. Like for your simulation payroll, these 3 steps you should follow. Even if there are so many steps, you have to follow these 3 steps as per the SAP guideline. For similarly for your posting, you have to follow certain steps. For your production payroll, you have to follow these steps. Okay, so these steps will be already there in the SAP. You do not have to create anything. Okay, the whatever you are seeing, just I have taken more screenshot of the detail. Okay, that is the only difference. Otherwise, these things will be already pre-configured in your system. Okay, nothing to do with you. Where exactly your work start will be, I'll just tell you. These things already will be there. Okay, only thing is, as I was mentioning, you have to just define those. So your actual work starts from your page number 15. Okay, So like if it is already there, it is well and good. Otherwise, you have to create it, like one-click monitoring, three-click production, posting to finance. Okay. So if you are taking a license for RDS, automatically this configuration also will be there in your place. You do not have to configure anything, but that cost additional for the customer. Okay. Otherwise, you can directly create this process template, which starting with YK underscore one-click monitoring, which yesterday I was showing to you. Okay. So all these three things you have to configure. If you are using upcycle, then additional two steps like YK underscore upcycle posting and upcycle payroll, you have to configure it. Nothing much different. So simply you have to follow these steps. Yesterday, whatever I was showing to you, very easy to follow. And similarly, for your process steps, so these are different process steps. For three-click production, we have predefined this 6 steps. Okay. For one-click monitoring, that is a simulation payroll, we do have this step number 1. So here it is mentioned 1, 3, 4, but you can also maintain like 1, 2, 3 as well. So nothing much different. Okay. So these things actually simply you have to copy it and paste it in your, or you just refer it and edit it in your payroll control center. Nothing much. The section number 3.1.3, this is regarding your namespace definition. Okay. So in this namespace, you have to simply check whether it is existing or not, like z underscore pol, z underscore pyp, or policy, one for policy, one for process. If it is not there, then you have to maintain it there. Okay. So it is as simple as that. Anyone can, if you read it, and you can configure it. So it is not a no-brainer. Okay. So similarly for policy type also, you can create your y underscore policies, or you can give your customer name. Okay, customer name underscore policies, you can give in that way. So whatever I have highlighted with in blue, okay, those are the things actually I have checked in my configuration. Okay, or yellow type like y policies, I have created this thing. Similarly for process types as well, if you go each and every individual, so this is actually for a US payroll, but similarly you can create your own administrator group like for Canada payroll. Okay, so same kind thing, you can check it. Okay, so nothing much. So in this configuration, only thing is you have to ensure these configurations are in place in your implementation, your payroll control center implementation. Okay, so while creating a variant also, so here I have given an example for a typical program. Okay, suppose I am using three-click production payroll. Okay, so the program name you're already aware of, RPCL, CU0, or whatever country you're working for. Okay, so in that particular payroll program, you maintain a variant. The variant name, it can vary. So like here I have given just a sample example, but ideally it should be starting with YK or ZK, so that you will identify it is a custom variant you have created. Okay, and similarly for simulation posting, the program name is RPCIP00, and you have to maintain a variant. Okay, so this one I'll be showing you where exactly you will be maintaining this variant today. Okay, so these are the steps, different steps you have to follow, and accordingly you have to follow your configuration will be completed. This configuration doesn't take more than 1 day, ideally. Okay, so only thing is you have to maintain those variant, and all whatever configuration has been mentioned, it is a kind of checklist for you to check all of your configuration. Okay, nothing much. So this is regarding your first documentation. The second documentation is again regarding your validation rules. Okay, so these are different predefined validation rules which SAP already given it. Like these are the different set of validation rules, you can see it, and there is a column called US specific. If it is a US specific validation rule, then it will be mentioned as a yes. Otherwise, that can be applicable for any country. Like here you can see the example like employment percentage doesn't exist, like your info type 7, info type 8, that percentage is not if it is not existing, then system should be giving an error, and it is part of your gross section. If it is a part of your say what are the different classes are there, like those classes are defined by SAP has given all these classes for us. Okay, so you can see there is a any kind of employees missing main address, employee missing main bank details. This example I have given in my this, uh, this configuration, whatever I've shown to you. This example I have used. Okay. Similarly, there are set of validation rules which are given by directly by SAP, and there are approximately 35 or 39, 40 validation rules which is provided by SAP. Some of them are US specific, So that you can find whenever it is mentioning in a yes, those are US specific. And others are any country, you can use it. And there are certain KPIs also offered by SAP. So these are actually around approximately 6 KPIs. Okay. If your client is needs something more than that, then you can take help from your ABAPer. Okay, that entire list is given. So whatever help is required for ABAPer, okay, that list also is given in this document. Okay. So all this document will be helpful. Not so depending upon what configuration you are doing, how many validations rules you are creating in your typical implementation, you have to follow this guide. Okay, it is very easy also, because in my it is always best practice to use, like you can start small always, never start with all the validation rules. So even if SAP has given, that doesn't mean you have to use each and every validation rules in your because it will slow down your process. The more the validation rule you are using, the more the system will be accordingly take much time to run your payroll. Okay, so for that reason you have to identify which are the go live critical validation rules. In my last project, even if there are 40 validation rules, I will use only one validation rule. Okay, to be honest with you, so that in the future, as and when required, you can keep on adding. Okay, so this is not very go live critical. Whatever go live critical validation rules, you use it. Then on a ongoing basis, you can keep on adding more and more validation. So this is nothing much different. Okay, so the
Yeah,
configurations are already. Sorry.
standard validation rules are available? Like, can you
Yeah,
use
yeah.
a
So
standard?
whenever you will be
Okay.
getting your system, all this will be pre-configured. You do not have to do anything. Okay. Only thing is you have to activate which validations rule which in the payroll control center, that only you have to identify. Otherwise, nothing much here. Okay. So
If
accordingly,
there is some scenarios which is customer specific, then
hmm.
you might have to design a new rule, right? Is that
Yeah. Yes, yes. Suppose that is actually at the end of the this configuration guide. Okay, towards the end you'll be finding that there is a list SAP has given. Okay, that generally you have to take help from your ABAPer. You can't do it. Okay, so if you do know coding, then you can do it. But actually, I prefer to take a help from an ABAPer. So you can see there is a list SAP has given towards the end of this document. There are some additional check type input parameters they have given. Okay, so like these are the different values they have given for LGRT. There are different set of values they have given. There are different data source type they have given, YK underscore PY underscore net. Okay, all the model they have given, parameter they have given, and also they have given a solution also for that, define solutions, where exactly. So here you can see with this you can implement customized solution. Okay, so with this, okay, so where exactly you can, what are the different options they have given. Okay, so these options you have to use, and you have to take help from your developer for this, and how to define those variables and all. These are little technical in nature. Okay, so you can have to take help from the developer. Okay, so what are the standard settings he has to do, and there are certain best practice setting also SAP has given with some specific package name they have given, web GUI services. Okay, and you can use this. Okay, these are little technical in nature, but you can take help from your developer. And this is a list of semantic ID. What are the check ID for those semantic ID? So all these things I always taken help from ABAP. Okay. So similarly, there are some data source class also they have given. Okay. So this you can leverage. Okay. And on the top of that, like there are certain things there towards the end from a performance point of view. Suppose if you are this is for ABAP as well, not for you. Okay, so like they have given some instructions, like whenever you are using creating any rule, select only the fields you need. Do not use select star. Select star, it means that will select everything. Okay, so these are some best practices for the ABAPer. So you can give this complete guide to your ABAPer, and they will be reading it through, and anything is required custom solution for a performance point of view or from optimization point of view, process optimization point of view. Okay, so your developer can go through this guide, and they can leverage. So this two guide actually separately I will sending to you, so that you can go through it, and you will be able to get it. So
yeah,
having
if
said,
you can, that would
uh,
be great. Like,
okay,
separately,
so
don't
two
put it in
things.
the book.
Okay, so two thing I will just make a note of it, even otherwise I'll forget. One thing is
Yeah,
that Q&A, all the Q&A, whatever they are for ECP, whether if I have not sent it to you, I'll be sending it again. And the
I
second
think
one,
He just sent it to me, Sokamana. Is that you sent to the Sokamana? The
Sorry?
ECP QA. I think he sent it to me now.
Okay. Okay, I think I have sent to him, then he might have sent to you. Okay. Otherwise, I will check it. And this PCC
Okay, you
RDS
can
guide.
send it. He sent me on the WhatsApp. It's hard to open.
Okay, it is already there in my WhatsApp. I will sending to you again directly. Okay, after the session. Okay. And this PCC RDS guide also I will sending you. There are two documents of it. There are two documents. I simply remember it. And another thing is actually I generally give, that is ECP sample CV, like what are the pointer you'll be writing. So that generally towards the end I give it. So today itself this is on my uh, plate. I'll be sending this four document to you. Okay. So then tomorrow we'll be having completed remaining part, and we will be
Other thing,
uh,
I don't know if
tell
you
me.
can help me. I also want to write an employee central
Hmm.
exam. I already wrote it, which is in 2017. Is there
Okay.
like a new documentation I need to study? Like I have all the documentation, old one. I'm sure like they have like more stuff, right? Up to
Mhm.
date material.
Okay.
If you can see that, like because if I gonna write ECP, I gonna write EC as above, right? Which I wrote like a
Yeah.
3 2.
It,
I just wanted to upgrade it.
exactly. Logically should be. Let me check with my colleague because I have also written EC long back in 2016-17. I have written, and still
Because,
till now I'm just
I never
updating with Delta.
I never wrote the Delta exam. I guess I'm gonna have to write the whole exam again, I guess, right?
Yeah, yeah. So let me check with my colleagues because at present I'm not working in EC, although I'm certified. Okay, so I'm not directly working in EC. From means between bits and pieces I'm working, but not from end-to-end point of view. Okay, so let me check with my colleagues and I will come back. Okay, so that is also let me make a note of it. And EC
The latest,
preparation.
whatever the latest is exam, like I would like to write.
Okay, okay, so definitely I'll help you. No, no
I
problem.
already wrote mine. So I wrote like one in 20 something
Uh,
16. That
uh,
expired, then I wrote, you know.
Understood, understood. So nothing much
No,
different. I think a 70 to 80% concept remains the same. Only some delta thing
yeah,
will be
it is
there.
very much the same. I don't know why they're making you keep writing, right? I mean, I'm
Ha, ha,
sure
ha.
it's 3 years,
There
so
is
there are
not.
gonna be stuff.
Hmm. Okay. Let me check the same thing with my colleague, and definitely I will come back. Okay. So let's stop here. I'll not whatever I will let you know, like all this song. Actually, this document I'll be sharing with you. You just go through it,
Yeah.
and tomorrow we'll be starting with that configuration I'll be showing because tomorrow actually it will not take much time to complete the remaining topic. Those are again a theoretical little. Nothing much is there because we have already seen those topics. Like authorization topic is not very difficult. Only the even SAP basis does it for me in a typical implementation. SU01, SU20, these three transactions and nothing much. And other than that, there we have those couple of tools, PCC tools. There is also we have already seen one or two tools. It will not take more than 15 20 minutes, and it is better. I will be tomorrow. I'll be showing that whatever the validation rules or whatever those configurations.
Also make sure
Tomorrow
like
I'll be showing.
yeah,
Hmm?
and also like you were saying, you need to up to date your all-in-one work, right? There is some stuff missing. Are
Yeah,
you
yeah.
going to do that
Yeah,
and
yeah, I will
and
do
send?
that. Actually, I'm working on closely on that. So this guide again, I'll be updating. Okay, so it's already almost done. So only thing is, I am just thinking what I extra thing I can give it so that it will be more holistic. Okay, so that it will be you'll be easy to follow for you. You can easily follow it. Okay, so I'll be updating within next. Do not worry about it. Within next maximum 5 days. Maximum 5 days I'll be updating, and before that also, if it is done, I will be sending across. Generally, I do not send to only you, but whoever people who have already completed training, say 6 months back, also for all of them. Even it will be applicable for you in the future also. If I keep on updating this guide, okay. So in the future also, you'll be getting an update every 3 4 months. Okay, so that you do not worry about it. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can find out a EC exam as well, the
Yeah.
latest
Sure.
one.
I'll be
Yeah,
helping you. So these four things actually I've noted it, and definitely I'll be working on it today, and definitely I'll be sending to you. Okay. So
so
that's
do you
all
think
for today. Yeah, tell me.
95 questions will help me get through the exam, or should I buy the simulator? Simulator is very expensive online.
Yeah,
Payroll.
simulator, I understand. Yeah, that is a little expensive, but I do not think that you require it. Okay, because that also has the same questions. Okay, that doesn't
Oh,
have much different. It rely on that 94, 95, and you rely on your preparation, because that is the, I always believe in that. Okay, no, I just, those preparation questions are just for your understanding. You can have a
yeah,
knowledge
yeah.
check. Yeah,
The
so you
study.
rely on your preparation. That is I always prefer that. Okay, so that you'll be coming through, means if you read everything, if you understood the topic conceptually, you can crack anything. It's not very difficult exam. We have given a lot of exams in our life, so this is nothing much
That,
different.
that I can understand. There's a little stuff we have to remember, right? There's a little things on the exam they ask you. When you read,
Mhm.
you forget, right?
Ah,
Sometimes you don't know how they're gonna ask the question. So it's
mhm.
always good to have questions and answers.
Yeah, I understand. From that point of view, that is important as well. Okay, anyway, so
Okay.
tomorrow will be officially the last session for us. But and after that also, you can reach out to me, and we'll be having, after you complete your preparation, you can have, we can have another session. Okay, that is complimentary for you, and we'll be having discussion. You just, as I was mentioning, prepare your list of questions and whatever doubts you have, and give it 1 day or 2 day before to me, so that I can prepare. If anything is from my side is required, I will do preparation, and we'll be having that Q&A session for that.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. See you tomorrow. Yeah. Bye. Good night.
Bye. Good night.